Hello and welcome to another Rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. For this Rambling review, we're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine is the third Deadpool movie starring Ryan Reynolds. And in this film, of course, Wolverine is played by Hugh Jackman. The movie is off to a gangbuster start, even though it is an R-rated movie and it is full of graphic violence and profanities. The film, it is set briefly after, well, actually it's several years after the last Deadpool movie. Wade Wilson, Deadpool, had been rejected from the Avengers. There's a flashback. He tried to join the Avengers. It was turned down, and he's suffering from a midlife crisis and is selling cars with Peter. Now, Peter, if you might recall, is the normal person, the non-superhero from Deadpool 2 that joined the X-Force. We have Peter Pool and Deadpool. They sell cars together. And Wade Wilson's birthday takes place, and the birthday party is interrupted because he receives a knock at the door by the TVA. They do explain in the movie briefly what the TVA is. It's kind of a tie-in to the Loki TV series, but they make it basic. You wouldn't have to have watched Loki to know what's going on in this film. Deadpool is presented with the opportunity to join the Avengers and the MCU timeline, but he has to leave his old life and all of his family and friends behind and watch as they are destroyed and eradicated for all of eternity. That does not sit well with him, and he makes a drastic decision. He goes and finds a Wolverine that is compatible and uses him to join forces to basically try to undo what the TVA is trying to do. And that ends up sending them into the wasteland, which is called the Void, and there is a Omega level, so top level threat there, and so they have to not only try to defeat that top level threat, but also make it back to Deadpool's world and save Deadpool's world. Now, the film, in all honesty, story-wise, the film is kind of all over the place in some instances. It doesn't jump around like plot-wise, but it's not as streamlined as the other two movies were. Let's just say that much. The filler is filled in with jokes, and there are some action sequences. You do get to see a couple of really good fights between Deadpool and Wolverine, and there are several cameos, and the cameos I was quite surprised by. I will not go into detail what those were, but I was very pleasantly surprised by actually most of the cameos, in all honesty. One of them, I'm not giving anything away because she was seen in the trailer. X-23 from the movie Logan does return, and there's a few other ones in there as well. There's not as many as the rumors out there originally said that there would be, or they were trying to pontificate of what might be seen in the film. So personally, I felt it was just the right amount, and they did a good job with the ones that were there. They added to the story, and they they improved the plot. They weren't just nostalgia berries just thrown in for the sake of it. Story-wise, this is probably the weakest of the three Deadpool movies. I enjoyed this one the most, as probably many people out there do, because it's you know exactly what it is pretty much going into it. You do not take your kids to see this film. It is a R, and it's a very hard R movie. There is no nudity or anything like that, but there is a lot of graphic violence, almost cartoony at times, and a lot of foul language. Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of a buddy, kind of almost like a road trip buddy movie. And I enjoy those type of films, and this one was done really well. There is a lot of heart to this movie, particularly with Wolverine and Hugh Jackman's performance. I mean, he's playing a comic book character that he's played now for almost a quarter of a century, but he brings a lot of heart and a lot of depth to this character, and it has some very poignant moments in it. Now, there are a lot of people, because they saying, Deadpool now is a part of the MCU, and now Wolverine's there, yada, yada, yada. Well, you didn't really watch the movie if that's what you think. It opens up the doorway for Deadpool and this variant of Wolverine to be in the MCU in the future, but that's not the case. They stay in their own world. They stay in their own timeline, in their own universe, and with the possibility of joining the main timeline, the sacred timeline, the MCU timeline. So it leaves the door open for them to return to some other Marvel movie in the future. This film, as much as, Disney will be making a lot about this movie in Marvel, this is, in all honesty, it is a swan song. It is a farewell to the Fox Marvel movies. It is full of heart and like a goodbye to those films and all of those films, the good ones and the bad ones and a lot of the ones that were just in between. It rounds those things out and it says farewell, and it, like I said, it is a swan song. It is a heartfelt goodbye to those movies. I believe Ryan Reynolds, he said it best. He said, "This isn't just Deadpool saying, oh, hello to the MCU. It's Deadpool and Hugh, Sean and me saying farewell to a place and an era that literally made us. We are forever grateful to the fun, weird, uneven, and risky world of 20th Century Fox. It was our origin story, and we wouldn't trade it for anything." And this farewell. It is a goodbye to those movies, much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of the Disney executives. If you like action movies, you like buddy movies, if you can put up with R-rated, strong, very hard R-rated language and graphic violence, you will probably enjoy this film. Especially if you enjoyed the first two movies, you will definitely enjoy this one. And it's got Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again. So, well, this has been another Rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. Until next time, that's a wrap.